Yo, whoa. You okay?
Huh?
You okay?
Bro, no.
What's wrong?
I broke my back.
What do you mean?
Spinal. I broke my back, spinal, bro.
I've heard that somewhere.
Like deep in there.
Where have I heard that?
Mike Tyson.
No, seriously, you okay?
I'm good.
Okay,
Good. What I want to talk about is something very important though. What is going on, guys? Bradley Martyn, it's a wonderful day. Now, what we're talking about today is injuring your back. Injuring your back and how to prevent that. So, let me start out by saying, just from my own experience, I've never had a major back injury. We gotta find some wood to knock on.
Right here.
Where, right here?
Yeah.
The door?
Yeah.
No, because it's covered in paint. Listen, wood right here.
So? Oh, right here.
Right here.
That's some real ass wood.
Yeah, exactly. Right here. Almost broken.
Yeah.
Will you knock on that? Help me out. Knock on that a little bit.
Knock it. Hello?
Thank you. Instead of knock on wood, we had to avoid that because I don't want a back injury. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to avoid a back injury if you've never had one. Also, how to avoid getting another one if you've had one, or how to not necessarily train around an injury, because that's a little more like injury specific if you have one right now, but it's really just about avoiding a back injury because, as you guys know, like your knees, your back, and your shoulders is probably where most weightlifters or people will eventually get hurt. Like, I got hurt here like a few weeks ago, but that was like doing some stupid stuff. But the point is, major injuries, you always hear people, they're like, oh man, I'm like, yo, you squat? And they're like, oh no, man, I hurt my back and I don't do that ever again. Oh, you deadlift? They're like, oh no, man, I hurt my back, I don't do that ever again.
Or my knees are bad.
Or my knees are bad, or you know, and then the bench like, oh no, my shoulder's broken, it like fell out of the socket. I'm like, what? You look? Anyways, the point is this, I want to talk to you guys a little about a few things that I've done kind of like, I guess, unknowingly my whole life, but they've helped me not get back injuries, not really get injuries in my lower body specifically. So, a few things. Number one, and I think it's one of the most important things, is posture. Now, that's like, oh, Brad, that's so boring. Throughout the day. Yeah. But also like when you're working out, certain things, right? People are like, oh man, that's so boring. But so, look, guys, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't have a job where I have to sit down, but I sit down a lot. And what do I sit down a lot for? Video games, okay? So if you guys have a job where you sit down, or if you play a lot of video games, or if you just find yourself sitting down, like in cars and stuff, slouching, posture. Not only just sedentary stuff, like when you're playing video games, because I'll be like this playing. And then I'm like, wait, I literally, I'll sit up in my chair, like, I'll be like this. I'll be like this. I'll be like, oh man, because I'm also like, man, I don't want to get fat, even though it won't really make you fat. Yeah. But also your body is better at like clearing toxins and all kinds of other stuff, like when you're upright. Yeah. So beyond just like avoiding a back injury, because like doing this, you gotta understand, I play like 4 hours of video games, right? Nerd. And if you're sitting like this for 4 hours, even though the controller's not super heavy, like these muscles in your upper back are stretching to like be in this position. Yeah. They're stretching, they're loosening. So when you go do something, you're like, you throw your shoulder out, or you like hurt your back or something. You guys might not even think about that stuff, but it's relevant, it's going on. So if you're playing video games or you're sitting at work, you're on a computer, adjust your posture. Like if you find yourself slouching, adjust your posture. Because you gotta understand, like most people get injuries because of like those old, like, it's not overuse, but it's just a...
I think it's just not being aware.
Well, it's not being aware, but like, if you're at work and you spend 4 hours on a computer, like, you're not even thinking that like, I'm sitting here spending 4 hours on a computer, like what's going on with my back? You're just like, I'm working, I'm doing work, I'm getting stuff done. But if you do that every day for, let's say 4 hours a day for a week, how many hours is that a week?
20 hours,
20 hours, and you do that every week, you do that every month, you do that every year, and you're constantly doing this. That's a ton of hours. So your body's adapting to that position, which you go ahead and you do something in the gym, you're like, oh, threw my back out. So posture, number one, not only in your like
working out,
not only you're working out, but in like your sedentary life, when you're just chilling or you're working, you're doing something sitting, you're doing something, you're sitting in a car, you're sitting playing video games. Correct yourself, correct your shoulders, sit upright. For working out, the same thing. Like obviously there's a lot of movements, there's a lot of back exercises that you don't need to be like hunched over for, unless that's specific for that. Most exercise for your back, like you want a slight arch so you can contract the back properly. So posture, one of the main ones. Can you give me any examples?
Well, posture during working out or during like...
During working out.
I think it's really doing all the main lifts correctly.
And that's something that I could say like over the years I've always kind of been good at. Like the deadlifts, the squats, I've always kind of this is something that I really want you guys to understand this. Like, for whatever you do in the gym. Like, you guys have always seen me like lift heavy weights and you're like, damn, that's awesome, that's incredible. But like, you're like, man, when is he gonna max out? Like, I've never really maxed out. Like, the truth is, like, I'm always like 80%, and I'm doing these 80%, 90%, and every once in a while, don't get me wrong, I'll go harder, a lot harder than 80%, 90%, but I always do it in a manner where, like, if I'm squatting, the minute that I feel something like not feel right, I stop. I don't push through it. Like, I'll push through certain pain, which will be like the lactic acid buildup and stuff like that, but if I ever feel like my hips are shifting as I'm coming up on a squat or my knees going in, like, I'll stop the set, start over. I've always kind of like been good at knowing that, like, when to pull back, and that's something I think is important just to know, like, in powerlifting, or just getting stronger in general. When people are working out, a lot of guys like will think, oh, just push through this certain thing. Like, if you have a friend buddy and he's like struggling, you see him squatting, and let's say he's squatting and, like, you know, he's supposed to be upright, he's supposed to be like nice in here, but like every time like he starts to fatigue, or let's say he's got 2 more reps and you're pushing him, but he's like doing this. Yeah. And then you're like, just go, but no. Like, eventually that is gonna cause an injury. And so what I'm telling you, something that I've always done over the years to avoid any sort of injuries, is the minute that I like get off of track, I stop the set, rest, come back to it, start over to maintain, so I can maintain as much like correct form every single time. Like, when I'm deadlifting, I'll set up, like, if it's a deadlift, let's say it's a 10 rep deadlift or like a 5 rep deadlift. You guys might notice if you see my videos, I don't just like, you see a lot of guys on the ground, like people on the internet, they'll do this thing and they'll bounce. So they'll be like, oh yeah. Like, and they're like, there's a lot of like shit going on in your back. Yeah. I've always been one, I'm not saying you guys have to do this, I'm just saying, like, be mindful of when you're deadlifting or when you're actually working. Like, full reps. So deadlifting at the end of the day is a dead weight lift, deadlifts, right? So put it down, pick it up every single rep, like almost reset before you're about to pick up the next rep, so it's nice and solid every time. Because guys will just kind of like put a belt on and just like do this thing, and they'll be looking like this. Oh. And like, and it's just all you're really doing is like, yeah, you're moving the weight, yeah, you're beast mode, but how long can you keep that up to your body's like, nah. Because then there'll be one of the guys who are like, oh yeah, I stopped deadlifting because it hurt my back. It's not because deadlifting didn't hurt your back, squatting didn't hurt your back or your knees. You doing shit incorrectly hurt your back and your knees. Like, there's always that guy who's like, oh yeah, I don't do that, stay away from that. But staying away from things like that is not necessarily gonna like cure you, it's not gonna make you better. Those are the things that I could probably attribute never really having a hurt back or hurt knees, because all those things right properly, right? So form, technique, like, that's the most important thing in the gym to avoid injuries in the back. Don't just be one of the guys who just chalks it up and say, oh, that's bad for your back. Don't do that. Yeah. Like, because it's not bad for your back. Doing things improperly is bad for your back or bad for your knees. So, correct form, posture, what else?
And then correct form, posture, that's one. And then core strength.
So core strength, so there's 2 here. We'll just do these last 2 together because they're both relevant core to each other. And glutes? Yeah, so because your hip strength, like your hip strength, your glute strength, this is all part of your core. Like here down, like here to here is your core. So like glutes, hamstrings, abs, right? Hip flexors. So your core is all this, right? Having a stronger core, right? From deadlifts or from like hanging leg raises, from planks, from things that you're creating like structure, better posture, you're gonna be much better at avoiding injuries if you have strong glutes, because your glutes are one of the main muscles that protect your lower back and protect your back in general. Sure. And the core being like this loose area, like, because okay, if you picture yourself, right, you have a spinal, right, it's boom, right here, and then it's sturdy. And then you have your abdominal walls that are sturdy when you make them sturdy, or if it's loaded properly, they can be sturdy. But they're also pliable if not worked properly, right? So like you have this sturdy thing. The idea is like your abs act as like almost like I don't know how to describe it. Reinforcement for your spine? Well, they kind of become like, make you one, right? So the idea is like if you're not activating this properly, your abdominals, it's gonna be more like loosey-goosey, and then you have more of this. But if they're like this, that's why you see powerlifters, they put a belt on, and then they like take a big breath of air and they push the air against the belt. You brace your core. It gives you a very tight like midsection, so they could stay upright when they got 800 pounds on their back, right? So that's what they're doing when they like get the air and they capture the air and they press it against the thing. So they use the belt as like another spine.
Yeah.
And in unison with the abdominal walls, like pressing against it, creating like pressure so that you're nice and sturdy, so that you don't have that movement or that play in your back. So what that means is, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this is not a brag, I'm just kind of explaining this. I've never really used a weightlifting belt for maximal weights. I'll use a weightlifting belt for like bodybuilding stuff, things where like I want to take my abdominals out of a movement. So the point is, like, I'm definitely not saying not to use a belt, but I'm saying like understand the use of the belt.
Yeah.
It's to like replace that strength that you may need in the abdominal wall. So that's one option. That's a good option, especially if you've already had back injuries. Use a belt. Yeah. The other thing is, even if you have back injuries and you still use a belt, you still want, if you're always using a belt when you're doing power movements, you want to at least take time.
Yeah, don't warm up with the belt, like you know.
Yeah, if you're gonna warm up, like that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get towards is like work your abdominals, work your core strength. Like, so if you want to do like separate movements outside of the power movements that are working your abdominal strength, like planks are real good ones for stability, or like Kevin was mentioning,
like
as you're warming up, like don't use a belt until you like really need it, because then you're gonna over time you're gonna build up more and more strength in your core, that you're better overall. Like you're better when you have the belt on, you're better when you don't have the belt on, because that strength through here, like abdominals and glutes, that you being able to properly contract those muscles, that's going to protect your lower back. So then other movements that are super helpful to help you if you have had a back injury, or have a back injury, or want to avoid a back injury, are things like these movements here, like GHRs, things that are like directly towards your glutes, directly towards your hamstrings, to like create strength in them. So we're getting a new machine coming in called a reverse hyperextension, which when you lay like this, we're gonna put it on the roof.
Second story?
Second story. We're getting 2 stories.
Oh damn.
No, we're taking out one of the pieces over here and moving it a little bit over. We'll put it over there by the leg stuff. But doing direct glute work, another really great one, if your back allows this, if you already have an injury. But if you don't have an injury, do this exercise: hip thrusts. You guys have seen me do it with like a bunch of plates. You put what the only use of this thing should ever be on your here is the pussy pad. The one is the squat people put squat pad that people normally like have there. Yeah. You don't need that there. You need that here over the bar so you don't hurt your hips. Yeah. But you put it here and you basically just like get in a position where your heels are on the floor. You guys have seen videos of me doing this, I promise. And you're basically doing hip thrusts. Like, and if that's too much or too far for you because you have let's say you have an injured back and you can't do that movement, do it with body weight against like a, legs up on a box or something like that. Should I just show them?
Yeah.
I'll just show them. Okay, so you guys could either use like boxes, plyo boxes. You could use like a Mbosu ball. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. A ball, something where you basically put your feet up. I'm gonna use this bench. It's more sturdy, less stability work needed. And basically, it's just a glute movement. So I'll show you. I don't need that.
Looks too easy, bro.
Huh?
Looks too easy.
Well, normally you just, you can put someone here, and you can just like, so, I mean, if you're doing that too, you're protecting the lower back.
Yeah?
So, I mean, bro, honestly, that's probably like the most efficient lower back protector, because it also releases hormone and you feel better.
Yeah?
What
are you talking about?
Hip thrust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you think I was talking about?
No, I was asking you.
I was talking about hip thrust, bro.
Yeah.
Why do you always make shit like awkward?
No, I was just asking you to clarify so they know.
Yeah, hip thrust. Hip thrust, no matter where you do them. If you do them at home, because you have a home gym.
Yeah.
You do them at the gym. Not glamorous, but efficient. So, what else? Should we teach them anything else? Any other gems of knowledge?
No, I think that's it.
You don't want to show them how to do some CrossFit moves?
Not
so
today.
That you could show them how to. Oh, is this video perfect? Remember you mentioned that?
It's pretty perfect. It's pretty good.
I don't know.
Nope, no, it's not perfect.
Comment below if he did a better. Okay, don't talk about that point. But comment below if he did a better job at keeping stable, because he said he was gonna. So yeah. I was able to keep notes because I'm like doing the video, obviously. Let me know if it's more stable and if it's more focused. What else? What else do we want to tell him?
That's it. I think that's it, because you didn't break your back. And,
I didn't break my back.
That's good.
That is good. We told him about the posture. We told him about the core strength, glutes and abs.
Yeah. That's it. In good form while lifting, but everybody knows that.
Yeah, and we told him 10 things. It's crazy, bro. How did we get that many?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. There's one more thing that's really important.
Wait, callus?
No, it's over here. Come on.
What is it? Actually, though?
Huh?
You being serious?
Semi-serious. Yeah, come here.
Oh yeah, so we decided to shoot this video because I realized I was like, oh, Brad always is able to squat and deadlift. Like I've never been like, let's do this, and you're like, oh, I can't, my knees hurt. You're like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So like,
what's what we talked about earlier was like I've never really had a real injury.
Yeah, where you go to that dude at that one gym that's like, I could leg press 1,000 pounds, but I can't squat because it's bad for my knees.
Yeah, leg press. Yeah, it's
that guy. So
also, guys, another
guy.
thing that's super helpful, if you guys can do it, is getting massages. Deep tissue massages. Yeah. My homie, the best massages in the world.
Wow.
Hands down.
Wow.
I got a lot of massages in my life, bro.
Yeah, but you haven't been to the world, bro.
I live in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, say peace
Latika,
out.
say hi. Latika, say hi. See? That's how, look at that. It's just amazing. Anyways, I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Maybe we should do a video. She could teach us.
About what?
I don't know. About massaging yourself.
Oh yeah, so go, when you talk to her, come up with 5 things that are good for massages.
Okay.
And if you can come up with 5 things, we make the video. If not, then there's no video.
And there's no video. I love you guys. I'm out.